So I started in 2020 was my first time playing. Towards like end of 2022 is when I started to get addicted and play every day. And then I played my first pro tournament in October 2022.
At the time, you were more of the underdog. So going into those matches, what kind of mindset do you go in playing, these quote unquote higher ranked players?
Pickleball to me is all about like a little bit of healthy delusions. And I think people get super overwhelmed about like who's on the other side and freaking out about what he could do. And it's like, man, if I play really good ball, then I have a really good shot at winning this match.
What's going on, everybody? Here we are today with Michael Loyd, new member of the Black Bears, California Black Bears.
Yeah.
Welcome to Conversations with DJ. Super pumped to have you. Just to get started, Michael Loyd has been playing pickleball for how long now?
So I started in 2020 was my first time playing, and then I still had 2 years left of college tennis. So I played for those 2 years, didn't really play too much then. It was like pick up a paddle maybe every 6 months or something. And then towards like end of 2022 is when I kind of started to get addicted and play every day. And then I played my first pro tournament in the end of the year. So that would have been like October 2022. So yeah, we're going on about to be 3 years of pro playing now. So.
Yeah, dude. And how do you get introduced to pickleball?
So I just found it during the pandemic. I actually had played before, funny enough, when I was like super young in PE. It's a part of like Texas PE curriculum, but I had no idea. We were just whacking the ball. We had wooden paddles. Didn't even know where the lines were. Like we were playing on a basketball court with a net. So we weren't actually playing pickleball at the time. It wasn't until COVID hit and they took all the tennis nets down in my area that I needed something to do. And tennis wasn't it. So pickleball had to be the thing, and kind of got the bug back then. And glad that, I was able to. So it's been fun.
Yeah, that's sick. And at what point made you basically realize that you were just kind of like ready, or that you could compete at the pro level?
So I had played like a couple of local tournaments right before like October. So it would have been like September, August timeframe. And I'd played guys like Pesationi and Craig Johnson out in Arizona that I played them. I had no idea who they were. I was like, oh, these guys are really good. And then somebody was like, oh yeah, Pesa a couple of months ago, like went 3 sets with this Ben Johns guy that's number 1 in the world. And I was like, oh, okay, like I'm not too bad then. Even though I'm losing to these guys, like I'm like competing. So let's give it a try and see what's up. So yeah, I was playing those guys out in Phoenix, Arizona area, gave me kind of the itch to see where I would stack up against everybody else.
Yeah, I got you. So obviously Pesa and Craig, and you were playing out there. I love Craig, by the way. Craig's the man.
If you don't love Craig, we don't love you. So.
Yeah, exactly. You have an issue with Craig, you're the issue, bro.
Exactly.
But so would you say, because that's where you started, even though, they're not at the top of the level, is that some of the people that were your earlier like mentors, or like, kind of like the people that influenced you to play better pickleball?
Yeah. I would say guys like, especially like I played a lot with Pesa. Pesa and I are the same age, but it was Craig who, kind of took me under his wing a little bit more. A guy like, Chris Headings, as well.
Yeah,
like
love Chris.
Out in there. I met him later on. Those are some of the guys that were the better guys in the area, a little bit older, kind of became a little bit of the mentors, and, gave me tips here and there, kind of just helping me with my game. And it was cool because both of those guys, like, they saw some of my strengths back then, and at the time when the game was a lot slower and I was still trying to attack, go for the serve, do a lot of stuff, they were like, hey, go for it, do that stuff, but then continue to develop the rest of your game. So yeah, those are the guys that I kind of looked up to.
Yeah, that's interesting, right? Because back in the day, and I've talked to this about some people, it's like if you kind of like sped anything up, you were kind of just like not good.
Right.
Because you couldn't flick a lot of stuff. It was very difficult to get over the net, below the net. But now, if you don't hit hard, you're basically left behind.
Right.
Unless you're Callan, which has like unbelievable touch. Know. But it's really interesting how the game has evolved to the point where everything that you were doing right back then was quote unquote wrong.
Exactly.
Right. And then now it's like that's how you're supposed to play.
Yeah, it's funny. It like completely flipped on its head. So I had a couple of those guys that were like, hey, this is good, like stick to your strengths. But I had way more people telling me like missing a serve during a game is like it's not worth it at all.
Yeah.
Like all the stuff that like now we're preaching about, like you need to take like calculated risks and go for things. But there's definitely more people telling me that I was in the wrong than in the right back then. So
Yeah, no,
it's
for
funny.
sure. Yeah, so kind of like moving on, last year you had a really good year.
Yeah.
You beat Ben Johns in I think Virginia Beach.
I beat him at Worlds.
Worlds, okay.
Yeah.
And then you ended up making the finals.
Yeah.
Which congratulations, that was sick.
Thanks, man.
You
Yeah.
fell a little bit short to Jaum. Who was it?
It was Fed.
Fed. Okay. Yeah, not Jaum. It was Fed. And at the time, in my opinion at least, you were more of the underdog, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you weren't as highly ranked, you weren't as well known as you are now. So going into those matches, where you beat Ben and where you get to the finals of a major, what kind of mindset do you go in playing, these quote unquote higher ranked players?
Yeah, I think like I've talked about this before, but pickleball to me is all about like a little bit of healthy delusion. I think you're a good guy for that too. Like I think
Yeah.
in a good way,
Yeah.
in a great way, like
Yeah.
you and I both like go on the court and it's like I really don't care who's standing on the other side of the net. At the end of the day, we're hitting a wiffle ball. I gotta hit the wiffle ball better than him,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna win the match.
Yeah.
Like that's just if you take it down to the basics of what it is, like that's all it is. And I think people get super overwhelmed about like who's on the other side and freaking out about what he could do. And it's like, man, if I play really good ball, then I have a really good shot at winning this match, regardless of who's on the other side. I also know if I play really bad ball, it's going to be really tough for me, regardless of who is on the other side. That's kind of the great thing about pickleball is it's such an equalizer in a lot of ways. So yeah, I was just thinking about that every single time. I was like, man, I have, in my opinion, again, a little bit of healthy delusion, but I've got one of the best serves on tour. I have one of the best forehands on tour. I crash really well. And so like if I can do all of those things and have it, kind of all the stars align with everything going well, then I know I can take down a lot of those top players. And that tournament I was able to take down, I think it was like 3 top 10 guys with Ben, J-Dub, Kwong, and ultimately falling short to Fed. But, I had a really good run and played really, really well. And been something to absolutely build confidence on and look to get more results in all the other events as well. So it was great.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I'll give you a little story. About 2 years ago, I played Masters singles. I beat Rafa Hewitt in the first round, and probably that was my first tournament in singles ever. Honestly, I just never really played it. And then I played Sherry in the second, and then I got beat 0-0.
Okay.
And in my head, I'm like, okay, he was just too good that day, right? And then recently in this tournament at PPA San Clemente, I had Sherry again in the first round. But, kind of like you're saying, healthy delusion is like the fact that I lost 0-0 the first time I played him didn't stop me from believe that I could just beat his ass. You know what I mean? So I ended up playing him in the first round. And I beat him I think 1-3 or 1-4, which is
absolute flip of it.
Yeah, total flip. And I think I was up 10-0 in the first, 11-1, and then I was up 9-0, and then he got a couple points, Yeah.
But
how would you say you handle the delusional part of it with the reality, right? Because to give you another story, I played Jaume yesterday in singles, and my match got called about an hour early, and it's hard to get mentally focused when you're just not ready to play the match because I need to play at 12:45ish, and at 11:50 you're I got called, right? Yeah. But in my head I'm 99% I'm I can beat this guy regardless no matter what. And then I lost 5-5 I believe, and then 1% of me is maybe I'm supposed to lose. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough, and it's it's a back and forth thing. I think anybody that says they never have that 1% is lying to themselves. And I guess that's cool for you if you can do that and convince yourself that's awesome. But for the reality, most of us are going to have to deal with a little bit of doubt. I try to just remind myself that the exact same thing is happening on the other side. You know what I mean? So it could be anything. Like let's say I'm down 5-10 and I get the ball back, and then I'm like, hey, this guy's thinking he just lost his first chance to close out the match. If I can string a couple together, maybe he's going to have that 1% creep in. So it's not doing anything for me to remove the 1%. It's to remember that, hey, the 1% is happening on the other side too. And that if I can just control that 1% a little bit better and stay calm with it, I can, overcome it. Cause it's not going to magically disappear. No matter, I see a lot of people talk about you can't focus on it, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I would rather like acknowledge it and move past it. You know what I mean? In
for
a way.
sure. Yeah.
And be like, hey, you're having these thoughts, take a second, gather yourself, take a couple of breaths, and then like go into it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my mindset with that type of stuff. Cause of course doubt's going to creep in and you got to be the one to recognize that it's there and then deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So you used to live in Arizona, kind of like we talked about. Then you moved to Austin, Texas, right? I think it was a lot of family-oriented stuff, right? Your mom is there, your brother is there, right?
Yeah.
So, and then on top of that, you get a lot of really good pickleball, right?
Yeah. I think Arizona has great pickleball. Don't get me wrong, but obviously in Austin, there's just a lot of even more like guys out there. You know, like I'm drilling with Colin, playing with Zane, like all these different players out there. I mean, we've got Deco Bar, like Johnson Cola, the list goes on and on and on. You know what I mean? There's tons of players out there.
Can't forget Carlos, man.
Of course, Carlos Delore, bro. Rec God can't get that guy in the body. I swear. Nobody covers body better than him. But yeah, it was a lot to do with like the opportunities with pickleball, but also a lot to do with like family. You know, like I'm a big family guy. I have a lot of family out there. Me and my brother are best friends. He's coming up in the pro scene too. So to get to be able to mentor him the way I was mentored back in Arizona and hang out with him. And plus I just have a lot of roots out in Texas in general, even beyond just the Austin area. So it's been a really good move for me. And beyond just the pickleball side of things, I think you have to have balance. Like as much as I love pickleball and I'm on the court a ton, like I also need, just for me personally, I need to have the right people around me. Yeah. And that's, you know, pickleball's not like tennis yet. We're not traveling with a physio and a coach and all these other stuff. We don't have a whole posse going with us. Instead, it's like you find a couple of friends on the road that you stick with. And then when you go back, you need to have like your group of people, your family, your friends, whatever it is in your home base. And so Austin's been a great place for me for that regard. Yeah,
absolutely. And you kind of go back to, thinking of Annalie Waters, which is, the best player to ever play pickleball essentially. And you can see like she has a system, right? Mm-hmm. She knows what she's doing. Like her mom has a job, her dad has a job. Like, like whether it's cleaning the glasses or giving her water or like testing her paddles. Yeah. And she's like just solely focused on playing good pickleball. Yeah. And that kind of just makes it easy, right? Where a lot of us are worried about 30,000 other things. Like I got to book flights and hotels and who can I stay with and blah, blah, blah. So it makes it a little more difficult for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
What now that you moved to Texas and you've been there for a while, what does a typical week of practice look like for you? In training, you do,
So it's changed up a little bit here actually in the last couple of weeks. I'd say when I first moved there, I was basically playing like 4 to 5 hours every single day. And so I was doing like, how it used to look was like 2 hours of drilling in the morning. And then I would work out, 3 times a week. So if it's a workout day, then I'll also work out and then I'll go play some rec in the afternoon as well. Lately, I've been tapering down the rec play and just focusing more on drilling. So instead of maybe the 2-hour sessions or maybe a 2.5 hour sessions, it's turned into like, if I'm going to drill that day, I'll drill for like maybe 3 hours. And then if I'm going to do both a rec and a drill session, then I'll turn it into like, hey, it's an hour and a half of like really good solid drilling. And then I'll go play the 2 hours of rec. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to be a little bit more intense with my time on court. So that's resulting in a little bit less sessions and shorter sessions. Yeah. So
3-hour session reminds me of Colin John's drilling. That is
like my 3-hour sessions are definitely with Colin. Yeah. So I'm getting with him probably once a week when we're both there, maybe a little bit more if we have time. But yeah, I mean, the other thing is CJ has absolutely helped me with like the efficiency of the drilling sessions. I feel like I used to try to work on like, I don't know, like 5 things. You're there for a while and you're like, I have time. Like I can do a lot of stuff. Instead, like we're probably doing like 2-3 things for 3 hours, which crazy. Is like monotonous, but you get like so many reps at it. You know what I mean? So it's been good to kind of just hone in on stuff. It's boring, but it's like, it's fun in a way. 'Cause you're like, I'm like working on this, you know what I mean? And I'm just hammering this into my system until like it just becomes automatic. And so the work is fun. It's a little monotonous, but it's a grind and it's been really fun for me working with CJ. And he also is great about like dropping little nuggets for me here and there.
He's smart. I love CJ.
He's crazy smart, and he's just one of those guys. Like I don't know. At least for me, it feels like he's like itching to help in like a great way. You know what I mean? Like he drops the nuggets for me, and I'm always super grateful for that. And so, shout out to CJ. He's been great to work with.
Yeah, no, it's sick. I'm happy to hear that. So, I'm gonna try and describe your style in 3 words. Then you can do the same, and then maybe you can follow up with when you go and drill with CJ for 3 hours. Like, do you tend to work on the things that you're not good at or the things that you're good at, right? So to me, it would be kind of like, I think it would be like fast. It would be aggressive, and let's see, what else do I have? Powerful. That's what I would say about your game.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the same 3 things. Honestly, like those are probably pretty on par. And right now it's kind of like, honestly, working on a lot of that same stuff. Like we spend a lot of time on drives and fifths, like in transition, and working on like the first volley and countering stuff. And so we're spending a lot of time in all of the fast stuff, because especially now with like the lifetime ball being a little bit bouncier, paddles being a little bit faster, like everything that's happening right now is leading to a lot of points being won in the first 5 shots in doubles. Of course, you're still going to get a ton of like elongated rallies, like as the set gets tighter and tighter. But like I feel like now more than ever, almost my style is paying off a little bit more, like you said earlier on. So I'm still working on a lot of that stuff. At the same time, with that, you're having to navigate, okay, like when do I need to like step off the gas a little bit, take a little bit off of the fourth, concede, let the guy get to the kitchen, and then we can start over there from neutral. But honestly, right now with him, it's been a lot of the same stuff that like I'm already good at, and just trying to up the percentages of it. You know what I mean? I want to hit those same shots, but instead of me, redlining and maybe I'm getting like 60-70% of those, I need to take a little bit off, go more into like the 80 percentile, and then now I'm making 80-90% of the ball instead.
That's kind of interesting, because I'm a big forehand inside out guy, right? And then sometimes I try to go for winners when really it's like, if I can hit a slightly worse shot, it's actually better, right? I don't want to like paint the line. You want to go inside of the line. Like, it's like little things like that make pickleball really interesting. That said, considering we agree on what your style is like on the pickleball court, what would you say is the most underrated skill that you have on the pickleball court? Or what's one aspect of your game that's the most underrated?
It probably, honestly, like a little bit of like my off-pace speed-ups. Like I've borrowed a lot of those from Pesa, honestly. The little like
Pesa's wrist is insane.
He's crazy with it. So some of like my off-pace speed-ups, I feel like everybody talks about me being like bang, 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 like speed everything up. But like I have a lot of like trickier stuff. I'm not quite at the DJ Young level with some of it.
Wizard.
Some of the stuff like that I'm working on that maybe people don't know as much about. So yeah.
I gotcha. Is there any hot takes about pro pickleball that you have?
Hot takes. Gosh. Man, you caught me off guard with that. I would say maybe hot take recently, like aggressive, like right side dinking isn't as big of a deal as people think. I think aggressive right side play is really important. So like, I think people see Gabe like, and you do the same thing too, but like when he's like taking balls out of the air, like speeding up, stuff like that, I think that's absolutely where the game is going. But I think at the same time, like people don't notice, like Gabe gets off balance. He's not like trying to like topspin forehand roll all the way to the other court. He gets there and he pushes the ball back and lives to fight another ball and then goes. There's so many of these like, up and coming right side aggressive players that I see maybe coming through qualies or some of the younger kids, and they're trying to like do these crazy balls, and a lot of times it leads just to a pop up anyway. So I don't know if that's such a hot take, but like I see a lot of people going for it, and I'm like, that's not necessarily what the whole right side aggressive ball is. Alshon does the same thing too. He steps out, he bunts a lot of balls, but then he's reaching in, causing chaos out of the air, causing like he speeds up a ton off the bounce, but it's not so much coming from like aggressive dinking, if that makes sense.
No, for sure. It's just like shot selection.
Yeah.
Right. Like some people think like, oh, like, you know, everyone has a different set of eyes. So it's like, you know, when I watch something, I might pick up something different than you do watching the same thing. So somebody might watch Tardy and it's like, he's flicking everything, he's hitting everything hard, he's, you know, whatever. And it's like, no, actually he's rolling. And then when the shot is there, he like hits a winner, you know, so it's kind of interesting. I always ask this question. This is a little spicy take.
Okay.
You know, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but it's always kind of interesting to see how people view stuff. So who do you think is, you know, just one player, female, male, singles, doubles, mixed, I don't really care, but one player that you think is the most overrated in pickleball and the most underrated in pickleball?
Okay. Geez. Let me think about underrated first, because that'd be a little bit easier.
And you can explain your why if you want to, if you don't want to get too wet.
Let's go. Man, overrated is tough because I feel like a lot of people are like kind of perfectly rated a lot of times.
I agree. I have to go through the list with Zane.
Let's say an underrated player, in my opinion. I mean, I might have to just go with my partner, Martin. Dude, I don't understand how for the longest time he wasn't on an MLP team. That didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like grabbing different lefties, and no disrespect to some of the lefties that were picked up, but I was like, Martin has crazy mixed wins recently. Yeah. He's a stud in men's, and he can play singles, and nobody knows about that. Obviously, he did it this weekend in San Clemente. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, he turned his ankle, but he had match points on Jack Sock. Mm-hmm. And I think if he doesn't turn his ankle, he wins that match. Yeah. Like, he was playing great, had looks at it in the third. So I'm going to go with him for underrated because it doesn't make sense to me that it took this long for him to end up back on an MLP team.
I agree. I 100% agree.
So I know I'm a little biased on that. And then I'll go with an overrated, and it's our boy Zane Navratil. Okay? And I'm going to explain it though. I think this is so funny, and I would say it's straight to Zane too. Yeah. But like, if you add up all of his shots like together, it is more than the sum of the parts itself. Like, he doesn't have anything crazy to me, honestly. There's nothing crazy. But what he does do incredibly well is makes a ton of good decisions. Yeah. And then the reason why I think he is overrated is because he's like the best partner. He's the best partner out of everybody. Yeah. So like, I think he always gets maybe people that are a slight bump above him in talent level. And he makes up for it because he's super smart on court. His energy is always great, and he's the best partner in pickleball. So that's why I'll give you a slight dig, Zane. But like, that's kind of my overrated, but he makes up for it.
No, for sure, right? Because you have to think like, you know, what do they really bring to the table, right? And the thing with Zane that he really brings to the table, in my opinion, is that no matter who he plays with, he brings the best out of that person 100%. Every single time. He can play with somebody a little better than him or a little bit worse. That person will always play better than his normal with Zane, right? So then, maybe if you're looking at it from a purely like skill standpoint, right? You could be right. But if you look at it from a purely, what can this person do for our team? He's really out there for sure. He's the man.
Yeah. So that was a little bit of a lame like cop out, but
it's all good.
True.
No,
it's true.
It is true. I don't know if you saw this, but I played Zane and Zane yesterday. Men's doubles.
I watched it.
You did?
Yeah.
And me and Zane get along really well, obviously. And like, there was one ball Zane forced sped up at me in the very beginning, and I took a forehand, and I almost annihilated Zane Navratil. Like, almost. Yeah. And he's just such a good sport. He's just like, yeah, great ball, Zane. I was like, dude, I almost killed you.
Yeah,
and he's
ended
like,
your life.
Yeah. He's like, no, great ball, Zane. I'm like, Jesus.
Dude, he's always he's like the funnest guy to play rec with because like, no matter. We're all human. Like, I have bad days. I show up, whatever. Like, everybody has a bad day. I've never seen Zane, even on his bad day, like, not bring it. Like, his energy's still there. He's still talking. He's still having fun. Always. He's the funnest guy to play rec with. And I'd probably play all my best rec when Zane's on my side of the court.
For sure. That's just what he does. It's just him. I don't even think he tries. It's just how he is. 100%. Literally.
Yeah. It's like him to a T fully authentic, and he just lives in that realm 24/7.
Which, by the way, we did beat you guys, so I have to just kind of throw that in there. Before stepping on the court, I've heard some people have some weird, like, I need to go, like, you know, I need to go and, like, walk around the parking lot and do this, take a piss, wash my hands, whatever it is. Like, do you have any weird or non-weird, like, rituals, any music that you listen to before stepping on the court?
I don't think it's, like, crazy weird or anything like that. There's just, like, two things that I normally do. I normally listen to, it's not, like, right before court, just, like, to start my day. I normally do, like, a guided, like, biblical, like, meditation. So it's just super calm voice on YouTube for 5 minutes talking to me about some Bible verses, calming me down. And then I normally read, like, a couple of sentences, a paragraph, whatever, out of this book called The Christian Athlete. It's, again, a biblically based thing, and it talks about, like, different perspectives of you as the athlete, and it's, like, real. It talks about, it's not just like, oh, rah rah, life is great, you're an athlete, God is good. Like, it's like, yeah, sometimes you're gonna lose, and this is how you have to deal with it. And like, I'll read something like that right before I go play, and obviously I want to win, but, like, it's nice to have just a little bit of a reality check before you go out there. I'm not one that's, like, listening to some crazy hype music or doing anything like that, but normally just that and those two things, and I get on court, and that's it.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. That makes sense. I don't know if this is true or not, but I remember watching some YouTube video, and Kobe Bryant liked to listen to that little music from Mike Myers, the Halloween stuff. It's like, dun, dun, dun. It's like,
that sounds like such a Mamba thing.
Like what is going on?
That's so Kobe. That's crazy.
Is there anybody? Obviously we all have, like, favorite people and, like, non-favorite people, right? But is there anybody that you're, you know, when you're about to go play or something, that you, like, really need or want to warm up with?
I mean, I normally just want to hit with my partners.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing crazy. I like to take that time to, like, get loose, like, make it fun, you know, kind of talk about what we're going to do in the match, but keep it light. But yeah, nobody specific outside of, like, my partners or anything like that.
Okay. I do have a pet peeve, because it's like when I'm warming up, and, like, a lot of the times when you warm up, you're court hopping, right? Yeah. And when warming up, a lot of it is for feel more than anything, in my opinion. And when you warm up and you're, like, about to play, like, a warm up game with some other two, and, like, you know, you're playing on court 37, and, you know, the room in the back is, like, 2 inches from the fence, and they're just, like, serving, trying to ace you, and, like, hitting a forehand to your face, like, trying to win the point, like, like, trying to peg you, and it's like, dude, I can't do this. Like, I would literally walk off the court. Like, I can't return, so it's like we can't do anything. Yeah, you're serving like that on this
If you're
court.
on short courts, I normally try to, like, not serve as big, or
just
like,
for warm up. Like, we're trying to just get some rhythm and some points.
Exactly. Yeah. And I have been playing some games recently where, like, if, you know, I go back and forth with it, because I'm going to serve big every single match. Right? For sure. And I'm used to getting thirds at a certain point. But then I'm also like, okay, if I go play Pickleball, for example, who also has a big serve and he has a good return, right? Even with my big serve, more times than not, he's probably going to get that into the back fourth of the court. Yeah. Right? So sometimes now I've been recently, like, if I'm practicing rack against somebody who I know is going to either miss returns or give me short returns, I'm starting to go, like, 75% on the serve, just so I can practice, like, having the third being hit deep, which I know will happen once I play, like, you know, teams in the round of 16, quarters, so on and so forth, you know. But I go back and forth with that a little bit. But
yeah. What are your thoughts on returns? Because to me, you know, I do a little bit of teaching here and there for fun. I have some really good people that I get along with. And to me, it's always like depth, power, spin, whatever you can.
Yeah.
And then Dane Gingrich today posted something on Facebook about, hey, start thinking short on returns. Like, I think it was like slice forehand, slice backhand, like in front of the kitchen, make him come in. Like, what are your thoughts on returns?
I would pretty wholeheartedly disagree with that.
Okay, that's fair.
I just think it's, like, really tough for a majority of people to hit that consistently, especially off of, like, bigger serves. I think it's a lot easier to actually use your body, use your hands, and use the pace that's being provided to then get that ball a little bit deeper. I try to think about depth first, and I recently have really focused on having the return feel like the ball is coming off of my paddle rather than it feeling like a ground stroke where I'm like really hitting it to a spot. You know what I mean? I want it to be more of like using the touch and using the paddle and using my body to get it to where I want it to go. With depth absolutely being first and foremost the number one thing. If you can also, get it there with a lot of pace and get to the spot that you need to up at the kitchen line, then that's great. But if not, then depth is king at all times.
Depth is king for sure. And I think all rules apply. I think anything can be true.
Right.
If I'm playing George and George is 65 and, I can drop shot a return into the kitchen to where he's never going to get there, then it is a good shot, right? But I don't think it's, generally speaking, I don't know how good of an idea that is.
I'll give it to Dan. He at least throws out the hot takes.
He does throw out the hot takes. The spicy takes are there for sure.
Yeah.
But also, something that's really interesting in pickleball to me, especially in the amateur level, right? It's like, how do you be bangers? And a lot of people teach like, take pace off of their ball and like, maybe when they drive, do a drop shot and whatever. And it's like, I don't think people realize how hard it is to like take pace off of the ball, right? So like what I teach is like, if they, fight with fire back, like, fire with fire. Like if they hit it back at you and you're at the net and then you're like consistently hitting deep shots at them, they're probably going to miss before you from all the way in the back, right? Where to me, like teaching somebody that's, maybe 4-0 to like take that ball and slice into the kitchen so the ball doesn't like go further back. It's like, it's too much.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a 4 or 5 plus like skill set.
Yeah. But even we don't do it.
Then, like, what's that?
We don't do it.
No.
If Alshon drives at you, you're not drop shotting into the kitchen.
No, it's tough. I mean, I think like, you're right. The percentages of you being able to hit and block down a volley just deep, is going to be in your favor compared to them, driving, 5-6 balls over and over again in a row. Now we're seeing Hunter and Kwong start to do it. They actually did it against Eric and Alshon. We were talking about, hey, maybe this is the time to not hit like a drop volley, but maybe like somewhere in between. Like if you can kind of almost try to not hit it super clean. And it was tough. Unfortunately, we weren't able to make that adjustment in the middle when I was on the Ranchers. But I think more times than not, like the percentages are going to be there on you just getting that back deep over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. So, now that you brought up MLP, obviously you were with the Ranchers. You were a wonderful 5th, 6th. Eric Gonzalez told me all about it. You drove with him every morning, got him ready, did all the cheering, got the crowd fired up. And then now you got traded to the Black Bears, the California Black Bears. You'll be playing with Juan. You were playing with Lina and Orlain, right? Yeah. And this is interesting. This is interesting to me, right? Because when MLP decided to do the 5th, 6th rule, and then they decided to have only 6 challenger teams, there were a lot of us, you and I included, that could potentially play Premier MLP, or we could just play challenger.
Right.
But you could also, worst case scenario, in my opinion, you could get caught into the 5th, 6th, where you're part of the team, which is awesome, but us as athletes and people that believe and have the delusion that we can just beat everybody no matter what, we want to play. 100%. That's what we're there for, right? So I got lucky. I got traded to the Breakers. I played my first event, went 4-6, not great. And then now I'm playing again in San Clemente. Hopefully, I'll be able to like better that. So to me, it's a matter of like, number one is playing Premier. Number 2 is playing challenger, which a lot of viewers probably don't think that's the case. Yeah. And then number 3 is sit on somebody's bench. So what do you think? What's your take on
I would
that?
agree with the order that you had. And it was super funny because there's a lot of people that were, hey, congrats, question mark, are you happy, are you not? And I was like, no, I'm happy to play. That being said, like if I was going to fall into that 5th, 6th spot, I'm glad it was for the Ranchers for a number of reasons. First off, I think they're one of the best organizations in all of MLP. They're really professional. They have a full staff top to bottom. So it's great to be part of an organization that like really took it seriously. You know what I mean? The other thing was I had great people on my team: Tina, Eric, Christian, Etta, Len, the other alternate. Like we all were there to work and make the most of whatever our role was. And that was something like I kind of took pride in. I was like, hey, I'm not playing, but like I can be Eric's guy. I can make sure that he's good, feels good. I'm talking to him in the middle of the matches, pumping him up. Like me and him kind of, you know, like I kind of that became, I guess my biggest role was like I want to make sure Eric feels good.
Yeah.
You know, and I can affect the game in that sense, which is fun. But how much more fun is it to be the one that's actually on the court, affecting it with your
compete.
play, your skill,
compete.
you want to compete, all that stuff. So for sure, I agree with the list there, and I'm happy to be where I'm at. California is a great organization as well. Jimmy, Richie, the whole crew over there has really taken me in and been professional about everything and getting me set up. And everybody on the team reached out right away. They were super happy to have me, and yeah, I'm stoked to get going here and see what I can do.
Yeah, for sure. Congratulations. Have you been able to practice with your team yet, or is that going to be an after PP or like a post PPA thing?
So Juan and I have been hitting a little bit, so that's been great. And then Lena and I are out in Austin. We've practiced together a good bit already. We've played a tournament together. We're still not sure who's going to play with who. I think Lena and Juan did really well in the last event.
Yeah, they did.
So I think we might see if that can stick. I'll play with Lane, and if we can stick, that'd be great too. And if not, we've all talked about it. Like we all have options. We're comfortable playing with the other. And I think the biggest thing is we've already talked, and we're like, we just want to win. I've got no ego about like playing with whoever and whatever it needs to be. I think as much as, you know, I talked about being a really aggressive guy, I'm adaptable as well. I played one event with Eric, and I played the right, and I was more of, you know, the setup beta guy and letting Eric take over. And I can also play the right in a more aggressive way too. So looking forward to just seeing how it all meshes together and getting after it, just getting to play, you know?
Yeah, no, getting to play is huge. Krista, big shout out to Krista. She just got traded to DC, I believe, right? And I mean, that's huge. Like, then again, it's better to play than not to play. Yeah. Like it is what it is. So I'm super happy for her. I'm 99.9% sure she's stoked to be playing too. Yeah. So yeah, big shout out to her. So, you know, kind of moving on a little bit, you signed a UPA contract, right? Mm-hmm. You're with the PPA and MLP for, you know, however long. But pickleball, you know, grows and changes fast and it evolves quickly, right? So maybe not necessarily, you know, where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years in pickleball, but what's kind of like your priority? What's your goal? What's this next year going to look like? Are you planning on sticking around for the PPA MLP? Like what's the take?
Yeah, so my contract is through, I think, the beginning of 2027.
Okay.
So I still have a little bit long, basically all of this year and next year, and then reevaluate at the start of 2027. For me, it's always been, you know, what is going to be the best for my development. I think in the beginning it was the APP side of things, just more reps. They had a back draw. There's all these different reasons why you would want to go play on that side. And then eventually I felt like my level was good enough to where I wanted to go play where the best players are. And right now that is PPA. And so for the time being, that's what I want to continue to do. Especially in singles, I'm having a lot of results recently. I'm in the top 10. I'm have my highest ranking ever. Doubles is starting to come along. I had some good wins at the end of last year, beat J-Dub and Dill when they were the number one team. And then, you know, trying to get my ranking up in mixed as well. I think right now I have them both sitting around the top 40. I would love to, you know, have those closer to having all three in the top 30 or so. And then, you know, seeing where I can go. But yeah, for right now, I think the PPA makes the most sense. They have the best players. They're doing a good job about putting on events and giving us the opportunity to play, you know, and so grateful for that. And yeah, like you said, you never know where things are going to go, but for right now, that's kind of where I want to be. It's also the MLP side of things too. I think it's kind of tricky. Like, I don't want to say one is more important than the other, but it feels like a lot of times, like with contracts and sponsors and things like that, a lot of people are more interested in how you're doing on the touring side of things with PPA, but then MLP is so fun. Like, I think it's where I have the most fun just in terms of enjoyment of the sport. So yeah, just having UPA, having both of those things, it just makes sense to be with them right now for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you ever go internationally?
It'd be tough. I mean, I think much like you, like I'm a family guy. I see myself, hopefully getting married within the next couple of years and starting to look at starting a family, in a couple of years beyond that. And I think ideally, if everything was a little bit more rooted in the U.S., that would just make a little bit more sense for me. I know, like, once I am married and having kids, I'm gonna want to be with them as much as possible.
Yes, you will. I understand.
So it's like to travel internationally, like all the time, that would be really, really tough. If it was, once a quarter, like say how the PPA is kind of setting it up right now, and I could take my family with me and we could go explore and do things, like that sounds like kind of the best of both worlds. So ideally, I would like to stay more in the U.S. and having everything kind of tied, down over here.
Yeah. I want to give a big shout out to my wife and my kid, because this was the first time ever that they were able to come to a tournament that I've been able to play, because I was injured last year.
Yeah.
And not gonna lie, like me and my wife, like she used to come to all my tournaments before we were married, and it was a lot of fun. And then, once you got pregnant and stuff, a lot of things changed. And then just having my daughter like watching me play, and I look to the sideline and she's looking at me, making eye contact, waving, smiling, like I'm about to hit a ding, and you hear "Dada."
Yeah,
like
that's got to be the sickest
dude,
thing.
It's unbelievable. Like I'm about to like tear up.
That's awesome.
But big shout out to them. I appreciate everything that they do for me.
I gotta sneak in and say shout out to Juliet, my girlfriend, because whenever she's around, I do play better too. So,
average pickleball gal.
Anything but average though.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love you guys' relationship. She does make a lot of content too, huh?
Yeah. She makes a lot of content. She's helped me with all of my content, getting me out there. She loves your content. She freaks out every time Layton's
anything with Layton, man. Everyone loves it.
Her. She loves her.
Yeah. What would you be doing if it wasn't pro pickleball? What would be your calling?
Yeah, I think I'd be working in pickleball, because I was working with Head first. Whether it be working for them or working in some other part of it. I love just analyzing the market that is pickleball. It's so interesting to me, because I think a lot of us get caught up in the bubble, like the pro pickleball bubble, and realize like, hey, this is a small percentage of what is going on in the pickleball realm. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like, as good as we are, there's plenty of times where I've gone to public courts or played, just open play, 4-0 open play with my girlfriend, and like nobody knows who I am, and they're like frustrated when they're losing points to me, because they just think I'm a little bit better 4-0 than they are.
Right.
Like, they have no clue what's going on. I think we get caught up in our world and don't realize that. Like, the market is so much bigger than the pickleball heads that are focused on the pro game. There's all these other parts of it that are important. And so for me, it's like kind of cool. Right now I'm working with one of my sponsors, Pickler Round Rock, out in like the North Austin area, and talking to them about like, okay, how can we bring in more people to our facility and getting them interested, and whether it's like, free like kids clinics and getting the kids to come out and then their families interested in seeing what's up, or maybe it's a play with the pro like exhibition thing where people are coming and just getting involved, and they're like, it's a pro, I don't care who the pro is. And I realize that they just want to play good pickleball.
Yeah.
Some of them are there for me, which is awesome, and I love that. A lot of them are there because they want to get their butts kicked by somebody better than them, and they, whether it's Michael Loyd, DJ Young, or Joe Schmo, they're not really worried about it.
For sure.
And so just like kind of piecing that stuff together and seeing what works is really fun for me. And I like getting to work with a lot of my sponsors that I see more as partnerships, and being interested in that. So I'm sure that after this is all said and done, I'll stick around and be involved in it in some capacity.
Yeah, for sure. I was having a conversation with Blaine Hovenier. Big shout out to right here, right now, guy.
Right now.
But when you think about it, right, like obviously we're playing pro pickleball and this is what we do for a living. But when you really sit down, it's like we probably are like the future of the coaching of pickleball.
Yeah.
Because right now we just don't really have anybody that you're like, oh, like he used to be so good. What can I learn from him? Because I feel like we are the first wave of people that are like genuinely like very, very good at pickleball, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting looking at, what could be my career path later on in life when I'm done playing professionally, because somebody might be like, hey, I love DJ's style. I love how he coaches. Like, I need to get some help from him.
Yeah.
So.
No, I agree. I think there's going to be so many opportunities for us, especially like you said, as the real first wave of pros that are playing I feel like this is the most complete version of pickleball that we've seen, and I'm
For
sure
sure.
that's going to change.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it
It'll
will.
get even more complete. But like right now, there's a lot of us that like, for you, like how long have you been playing pro tournaments now? Right?
Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, pro probably like 2020 or a little bit even sooner than that.
That's
Yeah.
5 years now that the game has developed and you've continued to adapt. Like, who better than you and all the other people that have kind of been in that realm later on to be talking about pickleball and coaching it and being like, hey, this is, how it is. This is how it was. This is things that you can take from then. This is things, that you can take now. And I still think pickleball will continue to change. I actually watch like a lot of, the junior PPAs, the 16-year-olds, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I borrow some of their shots because they're trying wild stuff. And I'm like, okay, the percentages aren't there, but the idea is pretty good. And I can borrow that and see like if I can take that and steal it and implement it into my own game. And I think that's the other thing about a lot of us that are still around and still relevant is that we're curious. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm very curious.
Like, I'm not like some old head that's like stuck in the same way of pickleball that was, 5 years ago. I'm like trying new stuff. And there's sometimes where I'll try a shot and somebody will be like, oh, like that's not there. And I'm like, dude, like I don't want to ever think about pickleball as like black and white. Like there's so much gray, and like if I can, put reps on a shot, then who is anybody to say that I can't try it in a game,
Yeah, 100%. And it's funny you say that about like, the being, kind of rooted in your own stuff, because with the teaching that I do, not to put anyone down, but it's like I see everybody short hopping. Like basically almost any shot. Like they just run straight to the ball and they short hop, even on like a return. And I'm like, wow, like you got long ways to go. Like that might have been okay like in 2018. And like whoever they got like some teaching from, it is not what pickleball is nowadays. So I encourage people to mess around with like top spin and slides and side spin and, hit it flat if you really want to. But like, especially with drops, right? Like they think it's like has to be perfect in the kitchen. It's like add a little bit of topspin, see what happens. It drops quicker, things like that. So it is very interesting. Just a couple more questions, just kind of for fun, When I think of some of the swaggier people in the pickleball world, you come to mind. Hayden comes to mind, right? Who are some of the people that you're like, damn, I like his style, whether it's on the court or off the court?
Gosh, I mean, the easy ones are like you and Tyson, right? Like,
oh, thanks.
Similar swag
style,
and like just good style and stuff like that. There's not to put anybody down, but there's like a lot of people just like wearing lame stuff out there.
For
like,
sure.
Like 100% is like I'm not trying to be that guy, but like it's just the reality of the case. Like I watch some people wear some stuff and I'm like, that's not great,
Were you around when Matt Chow was wearing tights?
No.
Wow. I'm gonna send you some stuff.
Okay.
Matt's great, but yeah, it was once upon a time where he would just wear tights.
Okay. Zane was on that too for a little bit, right? Zane was wearing the tights.
Just tights?
Dude, no.
No, you could have tights over your shorts for sure. It was just tights.
Okay, no, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Okay, yeah, totally fair. No, that's crazy. Let's pick on some guys that have some good style then. Gosh.
So you could be you, me, Tyson, Hayden.
Trying to think.
Who would be like a good fifth there? Actually, you know who I really like? I'm a little biased, but like just overall how he also, not just like swaggy, but like how he plays and moves, Eric Onsens.
Yeah, that's a good pick too.
Yeah.
He's
very
good
Brazilian.
Good touch. Yeah, when he hits a reset through transition, like it just looks like the ball just comes off his paddle, like he does nothing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anybody like with some like clothing style too, though. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe like a Grayson Golden. He's always got some drip too.
Yeah, he does.
Got some,
he
like,
tries.
Clean fits
He makes himself look good.
Yeah,
for sure.
He's got some good stuff. He normally walks in the scene with like the aviators, looking like he's off the plane. So I'll give it to him too.
Yeah.
He's always got a good watch on. Like,
big boss stuff. Yeah, for sure.
I'll respect that.
What is last question, and then we can open it up and talk about whatever you want. But what's like the meal, or what's like a candy or whatever it is that you just cannot say no to, or is it soda? Like what's like your cheat food or cheat drink?
I mean, gosh, with meals it's nothing crazy, I guess. Like I kind of just eat whatever, so I'm not too picky. But sweets, man, like I can't say no to a sweet, especially like cookies, dude.
Cookies.
Just cookies are like, I can eat cookies on cookies on cookies. Like,
Dude, I gotta take you to one here. It's like the best cookie in the world. That's San Clemente.
Man, I've been like, man, Jules and I have been on like the Nutella cookies recently. Have you tried those?
No, I have
They're
not.
crazy. It's just like, it is a Nutella product, and it's a cookie with Nutella filled into it. It's kind of like an Oreo almost.
Well, I think I've seen that actually.
They're really good.
Yeah,
They're
okay.
crazy good. And the serving size is like 2, and I eat like 10.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
and it's
so,
like, damn, that was 1,000 calories.
yeah, exactly. So I'm pretty good like during the day. Honestly, I eat pretty clean, like turkey bowls, rice, like nothing crazy. And then I probably ruin it at night with like the sweets. So
after 9 p.m., you're like, I'm a little hungry again.
yeah. No, normally I'm pretty good, but if it's, you know, ice cream, I'll just have like a scoop and I'm fine. Or like a candy, I'll just have a piece. It's when the cookies are around, that's when I get pretty bad. I'll eat too many cookies for sure.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, that's the end of the pod. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you. You're the man. I know one day we're gonna play a pickleball tournament together.
Yeah, we got it.
When you decide that Marn is not underrated.
Yeah, when he's perfectly rated.
Yeah, when he's perfectly rated, then we can go at it.
Okay.
But like always, huge thank you to E-Dripping. If you ever need a paddle, American Pickleball League, we make custom paddles for all of you guys, and we make professional paddles, very gritty if you want to touch it real quick. And thank you for watching Conversations with DJ, and we'll see you soon. Anything else?
Oh, thanks, guys.
Thank you.